everyone, it's Chelsea from Little Mountain Ranch, and today I'm going to head down to the root cellar and do a little bit of an update on what is happening down in the root cellar and how some of the things that I implemented in my last root cellar video, which I'll link up here, went and whether they worked or not. And in the interest of full disclosure, I have to admit I haven't been down to the root cellar in 3 weeks at all because I ended up bringing up enough stuff that I didn't need to go down there. So I haven't actually cracked the door in 3 weeks. So you're going to be able to see it in real time without me having checked it first and be able to see how things are going. So there's a couple things I'm hopeful for. One of them is that my cabbages are still good because we're now into just about mid-March. And if my cabbages are still edible at this point, that's going to be a huge win for my root cellar. The other is that my apples are still crisp and don't taste like a root cellar. Those are sort of the two biggest ones. And then the third is to see whether the mold problem that I had going on in the root cellar has been resolved. Before we do that, I just wanted to send out a huge shout out and a welcome to my new patrons over on my Patreon. I mentioned in my, I don't know if it'll be my last video or the one that came before it. It's going to depend on how I end up editing these videos up and in what order they come out in. But either way, recently I mentioned that we opened up a Patreon account and I have some new patrons over there and I'm so incredibly grateful to you guys. So I just wanted to give you a little shout out at the beginning of this video. Okay, here we go. We have Jennifer, Susan, Christine, Carla, Patty, Alana, Cindy, Mindy from Life Goes North, and Georgia. Thank you all so much for supporting us over on Patreon. Your patronage over there means more to me than I could really even put into words, so thank you guys. All right, we'll head down to the root cellar now, and I also have one more surprise to show you. A new animal was born on the farm. Hi, Noah Cypress. And I'm going to show you her shortly. Hi, love. Hello, sweetie. Look at this gorgeous weather. It's finally spring. I did my seed order and I'm going to be filling this up in probably by next weekend with all of my seed starts. I'm so excited about that. I can hardly bear it. Okay, it's the moment of truth. So just to remind you what was going on in my root cellar is I ended up with some mold that was growing all over my root vegetables that were in the plastic tubs, which I'll show you in a minute. And I was given a bunch of advice. And one of the best pieces of advice that I got that I think's probably made the most difference is to make sure that I space the distance between my boxes better than I had because they were actually, ow, because they were touching basically, so there wasn't a lot of air circulation, and also to get them up off the ground. So I lifted them up onto pallets and I don't see any mold, so I'll show you that in a second. But I can't wait to show you these cabbages, you guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, Maple, you're gonna have to get off me here. Okay, so there's a leaf. There's basically the leaves on the top have a little bit of mold on them. This is crazy. I had no idea that you could store cabbage for this long. This is nuts. I've taken off 3 leaves, that's it. And now I'm at crispy cabbage. Don't even really need to take that one off. Look at this cabbage. Careful, Maple, careful. I'm gonna be able to make coleslaw for lunch in March after putting these up in my root cellar in October. Maple just took one of the cabbage leaves out there and she's eating it. Crazy dog. I can't believe this. I really didn't know that you could store cabbage for this long. So the way that I store cabbage is to keep the root ball on. So I just pull it right out by there, peel off the the outer leaves, rip all these off, and then store it this way. And this obviously works really, really well, you guys. This is so exciting. That is just about 6 months of storing cabbage in a root cellar. So for all of you, this is just really amazing. So I'm gonna actually bring this one up. I'll show you the rest of them. They all look equally as good. Some of them have a little bit more mold on them than that one did, so I'll just show you that. This one has a bit more mold on the outside, so let's just see how many leaves I have to peel off in order to get to the good stuff. So that's it. Look at that, oh my goodness. This is so exciting. You know what's interesting about this one, the one that was the most moldy, is this one, obviously I broke the root ball off of it. So the root ball is definitely the key for storing your cabbages long-term in a root cellar. Okay, now for the apple experiment. So what I did, this is just basically my control. So I just threw some apples in a box. They're still crisp. We'll see how they're gonna taste. And then these ones I put in a wooden crate and I wrapped these ones in paper. So now we're gonna do the taste test. So this apple came out of the wooden bin that was wrapped in paper, and a lot of people said if I wrapped it in paper or I used sawdust and I used a wooden box and then put something over the top, that it would stop the flavor of the root cellar, because root cellars are really musty, especially old earthen ones like this one, from getting into the apple. So I can tell you that all the apples, there's nothing soft going on, and all of the apples are nice and crisp. And I'll compare it against the apple that was just in the open box. There it goes. You know, that's pretty good. That actually really doesn't taste like a root cellar. So this is the one out of just the open box. So the problem that I was having was the ones that I kept in the open box had a really gross flavor and tasted like the root cellar. And this one doesn't. But you know what's interesting is that I sprayed oil, I think it was oregano and thieves, all over the ground and the walls in here. And it doesn't really smell musty in here. So maybe I killed off a lot of the spores that were making them taste bad. So yeah, because this tastes pretty good. So obviously this one's gonna taste good too, the one out of the other bin that was wrapped. Yep, delicious. I'm gonna have to check my dates of when I put these in here, but I think it was about 5 or 6 weeks ago. And they're delicious. Both of them are delicious, and it doesn't smell musty in here. So maybe the essential oils is actually the way to go. So airing the root cellar out and then spraying it down with the essential oils really seems to have made a huge difference in here. You guys, I'm so excited right now because I was honestly feeling really stressed out about what was happening in the root cellar because I just wasn't having a lot of luck and things were starting to mold. Everything seems perfect now. So thank you all so much for all of your suggestions. We'll just check in on the vegetables that are in the open bins and see how they're doing as far as the mold. I already took a peek, so I know they're doing good, but I'll show you. There's like a little, I don't know if you can see that. There's a tiny, tiny little bit of mold down over here, but such a small amount you can't even see it. So this is sitting on a pallet as was recommended by you guys. And then this one over here, no mold at all. This is crazy. The other thing I did was I put this jar of water with essential oils in here, but the water level hasn't even really dropped at all. So I don't really know if that made any difference at all, but it does have essential oils in it. And then I sprayed the floor all around and underneath with essential oils, and it really seems to have gotten rid of the mold problem. I feel like I just earned like a homesteader badge or something. I just am so incredibly excited about this. And not only that, there's this really cool thing that happens here, and maybe this happens in other areas and other parts of the world too, but basically one day it'll be winter and there will be no spring bird song, nothing. The temperature and the light will be a certain way, and then the very next day, all of a sudden it is spring and every bird is singing and everything starts melting and the quality of the light changes. And that is what happened a couple of days ago. I went outside and was like, thank you, because even though I've been able to stay on top of my winter depression that I usually get in the wintertime, winter blues or seasonal affective disorder, whatever you want to call it, I've been able to stay on top of that pretty well this year. But the minute that spring day came, I realized that I'd actually been falling into it during February, which isn't really that uncommon for me. But as soon as I felt that light spring feeling, I realized I had been feeling pretty down. So I'm going to be getting my seeds by next weekend is the goal, to at least get all my blocks. I use soil blocks, so I'll be making all my soil blocks. I'll show you how to make that mix, and I'll get my greenhouse all ready and set up, which is just so exciting, so exciting. Okay, now I'm gonna take you down to the barn and show you the other spring thing that sprung yesterday. And I'm gonna get this root cellar closed back up again so I don't freeze it out in here. Okay, here we go. I'll show you the surprise. Any guesses? Hi, sweetie. So that beautiful lady right there, that is Ursa. And that little baby right there, yes, that's your baby. I know. Yes, I know. Can I go pet her? What a beautiful baby you have. Hi. Hi, Mom. It's all right. Am I petting your baby? I know, she's just beautiful. What a good job. Urso has only been in the barn a couple of times before. And she very much wants to go, and she's trying to convince her calf to come outside into the sun with her. She's a first-time mama, and she's a little bit concerned. And she's friendly, but she's not what I would call a pet cow, so I'm just keeping an eye on her. She's not coming. Her baby is just not coming. I'm just gonna get her baby up and see if she'll follow her. There we go. Big stretch. Is it a big stretch? You go over and see your mom? Why are there two grower pigs running around outside of the pen? That, my friends, is an excellent question, and one that I don't have an answer to currently, so I'm gonna have to go figure that one out. I need to go find a shady spot. Hang on. The reason that Urso and her calf were in the barn is because she had her calf down in this marshy area down there, and yesterday was a really warm day, so it was really wet and slushy down there. It was supposed to get down below freezing again to -10 or so, which normally is a completely fine temperature for calves. They can stand that no problem as long as they are dry. And I've mentioned this in many of my videos in the past, but moisture is your enemy when you're a farmer. Humidity, moisture, all of that combined with cooler temperatures, that is what is the killer, not cold temperatures by themselves. Fortunately, Urso is a really nice cow, so Dan was able to just pick up the calf, and she followed us up to the barn, and we decided to just keep her in the barn. And I think I'm going to give her a couple of days where she can range around out here, but also so that she can get back into the barn again. But because of the combination of it being a little bit wet out, combined with the fact the cows were super curious and dusk was coming on, we just decided it was better to put them up into the barn. I have to go get these pigs back in their pen now and then head back in the house. But I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope that it is spring where you are, and that you are getting some at least hope that winter is at last going to actually be over. We'll see you soon, everyone. Bye.